Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're opening up a really interesting stack of sources.
Yeah, these are focused on a pretty popular Japanese self-help book.
That's the one. It's called Life Turns into Diamond. It's by Saito Hitori, famous high taxpayer businessman, and his disciple, Mishan Sensei.
hmm And what we've got here are excerpts, summaries, basically stuff that boils down the book's key ideas, its philosophy.
Right. And our mission really is to unpack that, to pull out the most, important insights from this material.
The nuggets, yeah.
Uh-huh.
How does this book actually suggest you can make life, even a tough one, really shine? Like a diamond, as the title says.
Exactly. It's sort of a mix, isn't it? Self-help, mindfulness, life philosophy.
Definitely. A blend of personal philosophy, maybe some psychology, and importantly, practical tips. Things you can actually do to shift your thinking.
Okay, great. Let's jump right in then. The source material seems to kick off with something really fundamental. And it starts with you.
Yeah, the power of self-praise. That's the first big thing.
Captured in that Saito Hitori quote, right? Praise yourself a lot.
Exactly.
Mm.
The book presents this as like the absolute starting point. If you want to change your life, start here.
It sounds simple, though. Maybe. Almost too simple.
Well, yeah, but think about how often we do the opposite, right? We compare ourselves, focus on the negative.
Totally. Always noticing flaws, what we think we lack compared to others.
And the book just flips that. It says, look, treat yourself like you'd treat a good friend.
Yeah.
Encourage yourself. Acknowledge the good things, the effort.
So it's not about being arrogant or anything.
No, not at all. The perspective is that it's like polishing your inner self. You know how dirt dulls a gem?
Yeah.
Well, negative self-talk comparison that dulls your, let's say, soul's natural shine. Self-praise helps bring that back out.
They use that analogy too, don't they? The one about the kids drawing.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. You don't tear it down. You find something positive that colors the imagination, the fact they tried.
Right. And that encouragement builds their confidence, makes them want to do more.
Exactly. And the point is, adults need that too. But we often have to be the ones to give it to ourselves.
And what about weaknesses? Things we don't like about ourselves.
That's where it gets really interesting. There's a line in the source, something like even complexes turn into the best individuality.
Wow. Okay. So, embrace the flaws.
Sort of. It's suggesting that by really accepting, maybe even praising these unique parts of you, even the ones you struggle with, they can actually become strengths, or at least unique perspectives. It's a total reframe.
That really does shift things. Okay, so you start polishing from the inside with self-praise. Then what? The sources talk about actively raising your vibration.
Uh-huh. Using what the book calls heavenly words, Tengoku Kotoba.
Heavenly words. What are those exactly?
They're basically positive, forward-looking phrases. Simple stuff. The examples given are like, thank you, happy, lucky.
Simple but powerful.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
The belief is that if you consciously repeat these words, like daily, you actually elevate your hado.
Hado. That's like your energy, your vibe.
Huh? Yeah, energy, vibration, something like that. And the theory is a higher vibration naturally attracts more positive experiences, good things, good people into your life.
Is there a specific way to do it?
Well, the source mentions one practice.
Mm.
Just saying thank you out loud 3 times every morning.
Thank you 3 times. Why thank you?
It's suggested it helps calm the mind, brings you into the moment, kind of anchors your day in positivity right from the start.
Makes sense.
And they even point out, this kind of practice isn't totally out there. It resonates with mindfulness techniques people might see, like on TV or apps nowadays.
Okay, so self-praise, positive words, but life throws curveballs, right? It's not always happy and lucky.
Definitely not. And the book tackles that directly. It talks about transforming those difficulties.
How so?
It uses this analogy of stones. Everyone gets stones in their path. Hardships, setbacks, pain.
Right, those inevitable rough patches.
But the philosophy isn't just about surviving them. It's about having the mindset to see those stones as, well, as raw material.
Raw material for what?
For diamonds. The idea is to actively turn the stones into diamonds, transforming the suffering into strength, resilience.
So failures, criticism, those aren't just bad things.
According to this, no. They're reframed as trials, but not punishments. They're trials specifically to polish you, to refine your character, your soul.
Ah, like the actual geological process. Carbon under pressure becomes a diamond.
Exactly. The book implies that directly to us. The pressure, the heat, the challenges of life, that's what polishes the human spirit into something valuable, something brilliant.
That's quite a perspective shift.
And there's this really hopeful quote linked to it. Any hardship will surely turn into diamond, so believe that and move forward with the feeling that the future is bright. It's about holding on to that belief, even when things are tough.
Okay, believing hardship can become diamond. That's powerful. Now, this next point, this one feels different, maybe even counterintuitive for some.
You mean the path of fun?
Yeah. When you have a choice, the advice is choose the path of fun.
It's presented as a really central guide for making decisions. Forget just weighing pros and cons, profit and loss in the usual way.
So instead of asking what's practical or what pays more,
You ask which option genuinely excites me? Which one feels like fun? That feeling of waku waku in Japanese, that thrill, that excitement.
but is that realistic? Does choosing fun lead to success?
Well, the argument is that following that genuine excitement boosts everything. Motivation, creativity, your willingness to stick with it when things get hard. So yeah, it actually increases the chance of success because you're truly engaged.
Okay, give me an example.
The source uses changing jobs. Don't just look at the salary. Which company, which role actually makes you feel excited to get started?
Ah, I see. Choosing that makes the challenge itself feel more enjoyable, less like a chore.
Exactly. It turns the work into part of an adventure you chose because it sparked something in you.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. And it seems connected to the next idea, too, about small habits.
Absolutely. Big shifts often start small. The book really emphasizes that you don't need some massive life overhaul.
Yeah.
Tiny, consistent daily actions can change everything.
Like what kind of actions?
The example given is super simple. Try not to speak ill of anyone or complain for just one day.
Just one day. That doesn't sound like much.
But the suggestion is try it. Consciously choose positive or neutral words for 24 hours. See how you feel, how you perceive things the next day. It can dramatically shift your perspective.
Like cleaning a lens you didn't realize was dirty.
That's exactly the analogy they use, like putting on new glasses. The world itself hasn't changed, but suddenly everything looks clearer, brighter. Positive habits clear up your mental vision.
Mental clarity. That feels linked to dealing with baggage, right? Past mistakes, regrets.
Definitely. Which brings us to the importance of forgiving yourself.
Ah, yes. That feels crucial.
Yeah, the book stresses you need to accept and forgive past failures, mistakes, maybe even deeper traumas. Holding onto that stuff, guilt, it's like carrying heavy stones.
Drains your energy for the present, for the future.
Exactly. Letting it go, forgiving yourself, it lightens your heart, frees up energy.
And the perspective they offer is quite gentle, isn't it?
Very. It's like humans are not perfect. The imperfect you is wonderful. It's about embracing your whole self, flaws and all, as inherently okay, inherently valuable.
I like that.
And they use an example like maybe someone who really struggled in school, failed exams.
Yeah.
But instead of letting that define them, they kept trying different things, learned in other ways, and maybe found success later, like, say, becoming popular on YouTube or something.
So failure isn't an endpoint.
Not at all. It's reframed as just experience,
Yeah.
a redirection, something that if you accept it and learn from it can actually push you toward unexpected, maybe even better paths.
Okay, this is all building a really coherent picture. Self-praise, positive words, reframing challenges, choosing joy, small habits, self-forgiveness. Is there an underlying force connecting these?
Well, one concept that ties a lot of it together is kododama.
Kododama, word spirit.
Yeah, it's a common belief in Japan, the idea that words themselves have a kind of spiritual power, an inherent force.
A force that can influence reality,
Yes.
attract things.
Influence reality, attract happiness. The words you use have creative power.
And is there a practice linked to that in the book?
Yes, a very direct one. Simply saying out loud, this will turn into a diamond.
Saying that about a negative event or a bad feeling.
Exactly. It's not just wishful thinking. It's meant as an active declaration. Using the power of your words, your kododama, to consciously intend transformation, believing you can turn even bad stuff into something valuable.
Actively directing that word energy. Wow.
Yeah.
So bringing this all together, this deep dive into life turns into diamond, it seems like a really holistic approach.
It really is. It starts deep inside with praising and accepting yourself.
Then moves outward, using positive language, raising your energy.
And it gives you tools for the tough times, seeing challenges as polishing, of crushing.
Guiding your choices with joy, not just obligation.
Right. Recognizing the huge impact of tiny positive habits.
And, crucially, letting go of the past through self-forgiveness.
All sort of supercharged by this belief in the power of your words, the kododama, saying this will become a diamond.
It's quite a package. Did the source mention anything else? Any extras in the book?
It did mention a special appendix, something called the Four Gods card, described as like a charm, to support the reader, bring some light into their daily life.
Interesting. And what about reactions? Did the sources mention how people respond to the book?
Yeah, they noted positive online reviews. People seem to find it genuinely uplifting, practical. The quotes, the simple principles, that they apparently do have a real impact on how readers see things.
Which kind of leaves us, and you listening, with a final thought, maybe?
Yeah, something to consider. How might applying just one of these ideas consciously change things for you?
Like maybe today. Just making a real point to praise yourself for something small you did well. Or, faced with a little choice, asking, okay, which way feels more like fun?
How might that start to shift your perspective, even just a tiny bit?
Like putting on those new glasses the book talks about. What small thing in your life right now could you maybe start seeing not as just a problem or coal?
But as something that's ready with a shift in mindset to become a diamond.